Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Plague Inc. Evolved Custom Scenarios. So, since they're not updating the popular tab in any... Oh, this is just because of the recent search thing. Since it's not doing this in any meaningful time frame, I had to go and find myself some of my own scenarios that I thought looked kind of good. And here's one of the ones that was on the popular tab in Steam itself. Nightmare in Plague Inc. by Memnis. Spread fear as the Dream Demon. Let people's nightmares nourish you until you are strong enough to feast on their souls. Inspired by a popular movie franchise. It's also called AIC... No. Dark Panic. That's a good name. Not bad for a random generation, too. Wait, what's this based upon? I really hope this isn't Stranger Things or anything, because I haven't watched that. Bill Cipher? That seems a little obscure. Spread fear. You need to spread fear to find new victims, haunt their dreams, misspelled, and gain notoriety and give them something to be afraid of. You are very effective in urban areas, your main problem being severity. People of all having similar nightmares being bound to draw attention, inspired by a popular movie franchise. It also could be It, but I haven't seen that either. I'm not big into the horror genre, to be honest. I'm really not, so my ignorance will have to be excused here. Transmission, ghostly forewarning. People dream of two girls skipping and singing a nursery rhyme. Oh, that sounds familiar. Forewarning of an evil figure increases fear. Sure, let's increase their fear. Then there's apparitions. Victims dream of ghostly apparitions, which is spelled differently than right here, so how'd that happen? Sometimes of people they do or once cared for. As opposed to dreaming of apparitions of total strangers. It makes sense that if you're going to hallucinate apparitions, that your brain starts making the connection to people that you once knew and loved. Probably. That would just be my guess. Let's go ahead and pick that up. That's very little infectivity, though. Not gonna lie, this is a little concerning how little infectivity we're getting. Yet somehow I'm getting a pretty reasonable amount of DNA, so... Alright. Bad dreams. The demon appears in people's dreams, missing an apostrophe, making it a possessive, making them restless. Nightmares. People wake with a start after dreaming of being pursued by an evil figure. Lowers productivity. For only one DNA, I guess I'll pick it up. Insomnia, less productive. That's a bit of severity, but okay. And I've run out of options. All right. Then stimulant resistance. Ooh, I like this idea. Victims are becoming resistant to caffeine or other stimulants, increasing effectiveness in wealthy countries. Because if you're taking a lot of stimulants, then you don't fall asleep, which makes a lot of sense to me. Obviously, we have to pick that up. We are in the USA, which is considered a wealthy country. So, we want to get that as quick as possible. Transmissions, new things have unlocked. Okay, so I really have to keep looking between these three tabs, because things are progressively unlocking as I go. Boogeyman, an evil figure looms inside people's dreams as if ready to strike. You know, my wife is worried about the Boogeyman sometimes. It's hilarious. Well, I say hilarious in sort of a pitying way. But yeah, like, she doesn't like leaving the closet door open and stuff. It's just so, it's a terror she's had ever since she was a kid, and even though she's an adult and knows it's totally ridiculous, she won't say it as much. Like, if you call her out on it, she'll be like, no, I wouldn't. It's ridiculous. I would never do that. But I see her closing those doors and making sure that everything, like the lights are on in the right places, the doors are closed. It's almost as if she's being strategic about it. I'm just saying. Night terrors. People wake screaming and start becoming afraid of going to sleep. Night terrors are really no joke, though. I've known people that have night terrors. It's absolutely horrifying. And it's horrifying for them, but it's also horrifying for me as an outsider to see it. Like, oh my god. Ugh. Give me the heebie-jeebies right there. Victims develop tired, haggard appearance. Oh, there we go. Increasing infectivity and severity unlocks abilities, and then we have paranoia. Irrational delusions and mental symptoms. Victims' distrust of others make them unlikely to seek treatment or cooperate with others. This is not Stranger Things. I don't know what I was saying with that. People are going to tell me in the comments section. You're going to make a connection that I probably didn't. Odds are pretty good, though, that I haven't seen whatever this thing is. Just because, again, I'm really not big into the horror genre, or even really the suspenseful genre. It's just not sort of a thing. Certain sci-fi suspense, kind of thriller suspense, I can get behind, right? Like Interstellar and stuff like that. That's pretty good. But any horror genre movie or anything that's just intended to be like really tense, I don't know. I personally have always had this kind of rationalization of why would I pay to go and get my adrenaline rushing as if I'm going to die or something. That just doesn't make sense. Hypnosil created. Scientists are fighting a mysterious new disease with a drug called Hypnosil that can induce dreamless comas. More workers required, and governments are cagey on the details, which means you probably shouldn't trust it. Notoriety 1. Friends discussing dreams realize they are dreaming of the same figure. It breeds fear. Yeah, because once people start making that connection, it's like, oh crap, there is some sort of an outside force working here. This ain't no coincidence. I'm not crazy. There's just something evil that wants to murder me. I mean, that's how I would conclude, and I think that I'd be correct. Internet presence. Concerned victims compare notes online, not realizing they are spreading... There's so many misspellings of "there" here. Spreading the demon's influence. Increases infectivity, especially in wealthy and urban environments. Now, that could be good. Folklore. People start realizing the demon bears a resemblance to a deceased murderer. Very unpleasant rumors begin to circulate as to what's possible. What is possible. Okay, no new symptoms available at the moment. For our abilities, we have Dream Master, become strong enough to harm victims. Wounds inflicted in people's dreams become real. Unlocks potential, but increase in severity, infectivity, and lethality. Oh, wait. This isn't... Is this what I think? Could be. The guy, the horror guy who infects your dreams and kills you? Kills you in a dream? That could be what this is, actually. I don't remember what it's called, though. Puppet on a String. Gains limited possession abilities over sleeping victims. Uses to spread fear. Crap, what is that called? I used to know it. Shoot! I feel like an absolute moron. He's got like the really freaking scarred up face. Maybe that's not what it is. I don't know, okay? I'm just doing the best I can here. I've just realized that I started recording a scenario that is out of my depth because it's making references that I'm not familiar to. Which, for the record, does not usually bode well for me online as people realize that I am not with the times whatso-freaking-ever. Maybe 27 years old, but I'm practically like 50 for all my knowledge of cultural references and stuff. It's just not something I've ever really paid attention to. All right, still no new symptoms. We're going to have to go down the abilities route at some point. This is spreading remarkably slowly, considering. We got a lot of presence in the United States pretty quick, but it's going very slowly in anywhere else. In part because my transmissions don't seem to give me any particular vectors, like rural or urban or whatever, right? Those are usually kind of important in Plague Inc., but it appears that I'm not going to be able to do it. So we're just going to have to be patient. Puppet on a String, it's not a lot of benefit. I think I'd rather save up for the Dream Master. I know it's 21 DNA, but, you know, we need something here, dang it. That's good enough. Dream Master, thank you. A new nightmare. The demon begins gruesomely murdering people from inside their dreams. The world is in trouble now. Yet there was no lethality. Unpredictable behavior. The dream demon's methods grow increasingly unpredictable, increasing mutation chance. That's a lot of severity, which would be good for getting some extra DNA, but rather get a lot more infectivity. Icon resistance. Religious items such as crucifixes lose some of their effectiveness. Dream Warrior. That's lethal as heck. I'd rather avoid that at the moment. Let's go for the icon resistance. Religion no longer helps against the demon at all, because that makes sense. If there is a working religion and it has religious icons that actually ward off evil and stuff, well, just by pressing a few buttons in Plague Inc. and suddenly God doesn't exist. You know, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Sure, why not? Notoriety 2. People start saying his name in public, unwittingly spreading him. And then Notoriety 3. The demon becomes infamous. Big increase to infectivity, but also severity. Folklore 2. Suspicions of the demon's identity spreads further still. Internet presence 2, even better. And Blogger. Continued documentation of people's dreams spreads demons to a new country. Okay, so if I am having a lot of trouble in places like Greenland, that is my backup plan. For now, I'll go for the internet presence to make things even better. As much infectivity as possible, please. We don't even have any cold resistance here, right? So, and again, that's fine. It's not like every scenario has to be cookie cutter and has to have that. It does not have to be the case at all. But it should not be a surprise that some things start going a little bit slower. Let's go for even more resistance to stimulants. That leads to medical target, which appears to be just a genetic reshuffle. I'll go for a second level of icon resistance for the extra infectivity. And if I want to get some lethality, Dream Warrior is pretty darn effective, though 65 DNA is a lot. Hang on. Despair. Lack of sleep and constant fear causes victims to give up and feel hopeless. The demon can sense its victim's fear with dread sense, knowing what scares them most. Okay, now it's starting to sound more like it. Narcolepsy. Exhausted people keep nodding off accidentally, significantly harder to cure, and can be lethal. But I don't think it had anything to do with sleeping. But again, I have not read the Stephen King novel, nor have I watched the movie, because I did not care. Maybe I should have, though. Maybe I should have. What are we missing? Greenland, Morocco, Madagascar, Indonesia, and the Philippines. Crap. Look who shut down their port. That's a problem. Let's go for Dread Sense. Ooh. Ragdoll. Victims can be thrown around in their dreams like ragdolls. Drowning can be drowned. Suicide, they try to kill themselves. Coma, significantly harder to cure. Blade wounds. Blade wounds in the dream, leaving no mistake as to what happened. Combustion. People with fire-related fears can spontaneously combust. I mean, that all sounds pretty darn good. Insanity, significantly harder to cure. Very severe, but also very effective. Let's give that one a shot. There's Narcolepsy, which is okay, I guess. Could go for the mutation chance. Let's go for Puppet on a String. Puppet Master. Draws a lot of attention, but slows down cure efforts. Not as interested in that, really. We got into another island. That's good. The Philippines are kind of down. Please get a boat over to Greenland. Thank you. It's almost as if on cue. We're missing Morocco, Madagascar, and the Philippines. So I could pick up this, but I'm guessing I only get 2. And if that's the case, I don't want to risk going into Morocco. There's a 1 in 3 chance that I get screwed. Let's go for some folklore. That leads to the demon named. Big increase in infectivity and severity. All right, we'll go with that. The genome has been fully sequenced. Oh, and we got into everything. Apparently getting named is an instant transmission. Wish I had known some of that, but okay. Let's start going for a bit of lethality or waking nightmares. No, let's go for the combustion for a bit of lethality. We're going to have to kill pretty quick here because we don't really have a lot of lethality at this stage of the game. We're about to get full infectivity, which means not a lot in the way of DNA points for me. In fact, we're probably going to have to go with a level of mutation chance. There's Coma. That helps. Okay, so the mutation chance already paying off. Let's go for more of that. Next one will be 11% points. I think we're going to have to. I don't like having to rely on mutation chance, but sometimes that's just how it goes. Nuclear explosion in Central Europe. If only that gave me DNA as well. Yeah, they're working on that cure pretty aggressively. There's Ragdoll. Okay. Helps a little bit. Central Europe had a nuclear explosion and is now in anarchy, which makes a certain amount of sense. 9 DNA. It's not a lot. Need more, please. USA sets up trauma centers. You're gonna need a million frickin' therapists, man. That's all I gotta say. Come on, DNA! Clearly, I should have gone for the catalytic switch so I can get some DNA from the blue bubbles. That would have been good. We got waking nightmares. I mean, that's all good. Comedy kills would be nice. Just need that lethality. Not getting much. That's 11 DNA. Best I can do. Go for the mutation chance. Best long-term option. I'm just going to zoom forward a little bit because there's nothing to do but sit around and wait and see if I get what I need. Okay, we got the comedy killer. That certainly helps. Hokey mask. Hockey mask is what you think you mean? Authorities waste time tracking down the dangerous, though unconnected hockey mask killer. You spelled it right here. Sets back the cure. Oh, thank you. Okay, so it is unrelated. I was about to say, I've been completely misreading this. There's a hockey mask now involved. Nope, there's no hockey mask. It's fine. So we could go for the blade wounds. We could save it for comedy kills 2, which is 32 DNA. We'll see. I'm just gonna have to zoom forward a little bit again because all I'm doing is just popping blue bubbles while I wait. Good enough for me. Let's go for comedy kills level 2. Necronomicon. Authorities waste time tracking down the fable, though unconnected Necronomicon. Again, setting back the cure. I mean, that sounds all well and good. No more blue bubbles? All right. It appears New Zealand is dead, which means they can't work on the cure and lead the cure progress anymore. So really, though, that's almost the max lethality. Like, you really want to get Dream Warrior, but at 68 DNA, like, yeesh. I don't know what do they think you're supposed to do there exactly. There's not enough severity to justify getting an absolute ton of DNA points in the early game. The average player isn't going to waste their time getting 60 points on one thing, even if it is a lot of lethality. I don't know. It seems to me like the scenario is relatively well crafted, although a bit afraid of copyright issues, apparently, but also is a little on the slow side and runs out of gas pretty quickly. Now, that is certainly easy to counteract. Go for the catalytic switch, get the extra DNA from the blue buttons, bam, you're probably good to go. Heck, I might even be able to get those 60 DNA if I wanted to. But I didn't know that going into it. Had I known, no problem. But without it, feels a little slow and imbalanced. It's also entirely possible that I played this in a way that the author did not anticipate and therefore was not very effective. I don't know. Either way, though, the Dark Panic is going to work. And we just sit around and wait. Wait for the inevitable nightmares. Where you drown, spontaneously combust, or are cut to ribbons. Go to sleep, little people. Some of these people have been staying awake for months. It's amazing. 1 star because it was really slow of 1,363 days. Yeah, again, it's just a little bit of a slow scenario. That's pretty much it, though. Had I gone for lethality earlier, it probably would have worked. Had I known that speaking his name would have instantly gotten me to every country, I would have gone for that lethality earlier. So it's just one of those things where if I had to play the scenario a second time, I would have done it differently and it wouldn't be this bad. So it's not necessarily a matter of being really imbalanced as much as just you kind of have to go through it a second time if you want to do really well. Yeah, I'll say that I recommend it. It's actually pretty decent. Bit of spelling errors and some stuff that could use room for improvement, but otherwise, not half bad. Thank you all for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed. If so, then be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.